everyone, welcome back to Wildwood Cottage and welcome back to Wales. It's lovely to have you here. Hope you're all doing well and I hope you're all having a good week so far. I am getting back to the pantry and I thought I would show you how my pantry is looking now. Now it's been painted, it's been all moved around, it's all sorted out now, and I just have one little finishing touch that I'd like to do in there. So I'm going to show you how it's looking now. There is a bit of footage in the video showing you me doing it and what I was doing. But yeah, it's looking really, really good and I really enjoyed doing it. I'm so glad I've done it and it's a really nice space to go into. I can find everything now and my Victory Pantry is well underway, being stocked, full of all sorts of goodies to keep us going in any food shortages. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you what it was like before and then we'll have a little look together at what I did along the way to finish it off. So that's the walls all done. Everything's out and the walls have been painted. The ceiling's been painted and the shelves have been cleaned. I've just got to brush up and get rid of all the rubbish and then give the floor a wipe and then that's all done then. As it turned out, it wasn't actually mouldy under here. What had happened is the paint had come off the walls. No idea what had happened, but all underneath here, the paint had all fell off. There was a bit of black, but it was actually stone. It wasn't mould at all. So I have cleaned it all. I cleaned it with my vinegar and lemon juice cleaner with bicarbonated soda in it. So hopefully that'll keep down the mould. It's had a mould treatment all over the wall under the counter. I've painted the whole thing in, where is it? In this all-purpose primer sealer stain killer. So hopefully that's got a mould thing in it. So hopefully that will do the trick for that. So I'm just waiting for it to dry. I've decided for the window ledge, I'm going to use the Fablon. I might use the yellow one because I don't think I'll have enough of the pink. But I'm just waiting for my walls to dry and then I'm going to do the shelves and then I'm going to get the stuff moved back in. Because I think the ceiling may need another coat, but I'm not too fussed about that at the moment. The main thing is I want to get my shelves done and get my stuff back in and organise what I'm doing. So I am looking for a fridge. I have decided I am going to have a fridge and it's going to go under the counter here, probably on this side here. And that's just going to keep a bit of temperature in here. I don't want it hot, but I just think it's just slightly too cold. And I think the hot air hits it here and then makes it damp and makes it wet and makes it cold. And I know when Gordon had it in here, he used to have a fridge here and he never had the damp problem. He never had any moisture problems. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just waiting for my walls to dry and then we're going to put the Fablon on. So when I get to that, I'll show you what the shelves are turning out like and we'll do it together. I didn't think it was worth me showing you how I'm doing the walls, but don't they look better? Don't they look nice? And you know, it's such a big space. I didn't realise how big this pantry was because I had so much in it. But it's not all going back. It's not all going back. There's no need for a lot of it to be in here. So yeah, very pleased, very happy. So when we come to do the shelves, I'll show you what I'm doing. I have actually got a little light in here now, this one. It's one of those clip-on lights. It is an electric one. So I'm going to put a long cable on it. And that's going to get plugged into the same place as the fridge and the freezer. So that'll be good, won't it? Right, time to get on with something else. Enjoy it now, buddy. So I'm very pleased with how my pantry is looking. It's looking a lot better. Do you know, I can't believe how much stuff actually was in that pantry. It is unbelievable how much I've pulled out. Do you know, it took me 2 hours to empty it yesterday. The poor dog's up the wall. He's wondering what on earth's going on. I've ordered some more of these off Temu where I keep my flour. It keeps the mice out. They're sealed, they're airtight, and they're on wheels. Let me show you. There you go, look, they're on wheels. So I've ordered some. I've ordered 4, I think, and I've ordered it for my porridge oats, my big bags of flour, and I'm going to put all the extra bits and bobs. I mean, this is what came out of my pantry. Isn't it disgusting? I may put, you know, the likes of these plastic tubs. I may pop them in a box and then I can get to them and just write on the lids, right on the top on here. And maybe put a label on it as to the date that I refilled it, and then I'll know how long the stuff's been in there for. But I don't want it looking as messy as it was. So yeah, these storage bins are going to be great because I'll be able to keep all my flour in them. So I want one for my self-raising flour, one for my plain flour, one for my porridge oats, and one for my bread flour. And then that'll sort that out. It'll save me having lots of little faffy boxes all over the place. But because these ones are great, but they're just a bit small. So I want to get them in big boxes, and then I can just keep all the flour together, keep all the porridge together, and make that a lot easier. All that lot on the table there, that's all out the pantry. And all that lot on there was out the pantry. That lot there was out the pantry. And oh, that was out the pantry as well, apart from that top and the hamster cage. So yeah, there was a lot in there, an awful lot. Right, I'm going to go and get on with my sewing. Right, so I've been starting to move things back in, and I've put my flour that's on wheels, this one, my bread flour. See, it's on wheels, it pulls out. So that's going to be handy in there. And then I've put my extension lead in there. That was old Gordon's, 1970s. And then I put my pasta and my cornbread flour and my dog food. They're going to go on wheels. I'm going to build I've ordered some caster wheels, like these white ones, off Temu. I've got 8 for about £2, I think it was. So I'm going to put a little platform under them, you know, like you do for a plant stand. Put them on that, and then that's easily pulled in and out. That one's on wheels, so they're handy. I can pull them in and out. As I say, I've got another 3 or 4, I think another 4 coming, and they're on wheels, so that'll be really handy. Then this is where my fridge is going to go. And I've ordered that today, so that's coming. It should be here by the weekend. I got a 131 litre fridge with no freezer. It's going to cost me about £20 a year to run. And it was £139. So I'm really pleased with that. So that's going to fit in there. And then this is my box of wheatgrass berries and odd bits and bobs of flour. And my stool fits nicely there. So I've got this space here. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to put anything in there and leave that empty. It sounds really echoey in here now. I've got my countertop to clean. I've just been brushing it off. But what I want to do before my husband comes home is I want to start on the shelf. So I thought I'd show you what I'm going to be doing with that. I'm just going to measure out for the Fablon. And then we're going to cut that and we're going to stick it on. It works exactly the same way as the stuff that I did for my window ledge. But I'm going to cover the whole shelf, top and underneath. And then these are going to be painted in cream. And the window ledge, this window here, the window is going to be painted in cream. The window ledge is going to be green. And up there is going to be green. And I may do the detail on the window in green as well. And I've got my door frame to do as well. So I may do this in green and cream as well and make it a bit 1930s. So yeah, I'm very excited to be getting it organised. So I'll just get the Fablon, get the scissors, and we'll have a go at cutting that together. Right. So I've started the other end. I thought the camera was on, but it's not. So we're just peeling it back and sticking it, hence the name Peel and Stick, you know. All good so far. Ooh. Excuse my messy, untidy look, but I've been busy in here all day. Now that's not straight. It's gone off. So I'm going to put a bit of crease in it just to get it to go straight. Where's my scissors gone? Going to be a slight overlap, but it's only for what's the word, aesthetic purposes. So my worktop's all been cleaned. It's a full slate top. It's great. Lovely Victorian pantry with the slate top. So I've given it a really good clean. Still a few bits of paint on it, but for now it'll do because I want to get everything back in. So I'm just going to leave that to dry and go and do my sewing for Peggy. I've still got one shelf to do. I've cleaned the window, ready for painting that tomorrow. But yeah, everything's coming together. So I'm just going to wait for this to dry and then I'm going to polish it with some beeswax to make it all nice and shiny and easy to keep clean. And then I can start moving the stuff back in. I've already got my appliances back up there. That's my preserving jar for doing kimchi and pickles and things like that. And then I've got my yogurt maker, my air fryer, my food mixer, my blender, my food processor. That is my one pot, and that is my manual wheat grinder. And I've also got my wheat grinder, so I might bring that out here as well. So yeah, it's all coming together nicely. Okay, so this is my finished pantry. I have painted the walls, as you've seen, excuse all the flies, and I've put all of my appliances that I use in the kitchen along the top to keep things out of the way, and it just makes use of the height up to the ceiling. And then again on the next shelf, I have covered it in this Fablon stuff that I like to use. It means it's wipeable. And it saved me any preparation on the shelves. So some of it I've had to staple gun down, but some of it has stuck to the shelf. I just need to finish off that underneath bit there. When I've put all my stuff back, that can wait. But I've got all my jars labelled now, so I know everything that's in the jars, and it's easy to find everything. I use all these Kilner jars to keep stuff fresh, and I have a vacuum sealer that takes all the air out of the Kilner jar. Every time I use one, it's just really handy to use. And it just means then that I can keep all my dried goods in Kilner jars and suck all the air out. So that's what I do with them. And then in the shelf below that, I've also got more dried goods as well in storage jars, like runner beans and pumpkin seeds and mung beans and peas and breadcrumbs and all that sort of thing. And then on this side here, we then have some jars. I've got some gooseberries and some rhubarb. I've got some pickles. These were really nice and tasty. I've got some runner beans as well that are from a while ago that I need to eat, so that's why they're in here. And then I've got a few tins as well. I haven't moved the bulk of everything in because I wanted to just this is just my usable pantry of things that I use all the time. So yeah, I've got all my tins. I've got tin pineapple, tin peaches, the pumpkin puree, my marmalade, which is coming up in a recipe video. I'm doing a full version of the carrot and marmalade recipe to use up old carrots. I've got all my other jars with all my other dried goods in, like rice and jumbo oats and chickpeas, porridge. I've got brown rice, I've got red lentils, I've got other bits and bobs above there. And then on the top shelf there, I've got a couple of eggs left from last year because I water glass my eggs to preserve them through the winter. I've got these lovely big boxes now from Temu, and they hold 7.5 kilos of goods. So this one now is just pasta. I don't know whether you remember the tall shelf that I had in the corner in the window. Well, now everything's in these boxes instead, and I've got rid of that shelving unit, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I've got flour in these jars here, and then other bulk goods as well, and my cooking oil. In that one, there is sugar. These are my powders for my health routine. I've had them for a long time, a while, so these aren't part of my wartime challenge, but I do use them when I have smoothies. And then in this rumped off jar, there is also sugar. Now, I find these ceramic jars really handy and really good for using for storing things like sugar, because it keeps the sugar nice and dry and stops it going moist. It just keeps the air out. So terracotta pots that they used to use 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, they knew what they were doing. It did keep things dry. It kept the moisture out and things lasted a long time. So that's what I've reverted back to. Anytime I can find this type of jar, I buy it, and then I can fill it with flour or fill it with sugar, and it keeps things nice and clean and dry and keeps the flies out and the mice as well. In this shelf underneath, I have my flour, I have my dried fruit, and I've also got these big bins as well. I'll go into more detail in another video as to how I store things, but again, these are off Temu, and I've made sure I've labelled everything so I know what's in them. I accidentally put bread flour in the plain flour, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just using that at the moment as surplus flour. You know, like for when you're making pastry or making bread and you need to sprinkle flour. I'm just using that at the moment. And then along here again is just some more flour. I've got plain flour. I've got my own home ground buckwheat flour, my own home ground oat flour, brown sugar. So all the baking stuff now is together because I've got my syrup, I've got my treacle, I've got my molasses. So it's all together there. And then up here is just excess things like jarred garlic. I've got some pumpkin spice, I've got horseradish, I've got dried dates, which need using up. I've got sauerkraut. Yeah, it's just really easy to find everything now because everything's labelled and looks really tidy. So this shelf here is just all excess baking stuff, pasta, things that I didn't know where to put anything, coconut oil, just think ways I couldn't find any space. I've been storing my eggs in these tubs. I've got one here, which is nearly full of eggs now. I give it a mix now and again. I check the eggs now and again to check there's no cracked ones. And they get stored in there. And that's my winter storage of eggs started for this winter. And then this corner here was where that unit was with the doors on. And it was really, really awkward to get into. In fact, it was a nightmare to get into. And I've moved that now. That's gone upstairs to my upstairs pantry. And these are the storage boxes again that I got off Temu. This size here is a 5 kilogram, and then the ones underneath are a 7.5 kilogram, and they are so handy, very very handy. I highly recommend them. They were only about £5 each. And now and again they have offers on, but this is all my dried mushrooms and chestnuts and burger mixers, nut roast mixers in there that I've bought over the years and that's still fresh, still able to be used, but just needed somewhere to go. So that's what's in there. And then in this one is my baking goods. I've got flour and sugar. I've got sugar. I've got marzipan. I've got icing, chocolate, all that sort of thing in this one, and that's handy to find. And again, the next one down there is grains, which is just all sorts of like linseeds, buckwheat, all that kind of thing in there. I've got desiccated coconut in this box, and then I've got mixed bits and bobs that I didn't know where to put. This is my homemade cough syrup, rosehip and blackberry that I made last year, and it's really good when you've got a sore throat. I think I could do with some today. I think the air's really dry. I canned some apples last week out of the freezer. Out of the freezer. I'm trying to get my freezer empty. So then when the next lot of apples come this year, I've got a nice empty freezer. I also want to do meal prep as well in advance of the surplus of food that I make. I always make extra. I always make leftovers when I do my cooking. So I want to have leftover meals, like ready meals, only home cooked in the freezer, and be able to put a meal on the table on the weekend when I don't want to cook. So that's that for that. And then under here has all been painted now. It was all scraped. And yeah, I've got all my bits and bobs in here now. I've got pasta in this one. I have got 7.5 kilos in there, I think, in that pasta box.
And then I've got seeds in that one, like sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. And then down on the bottom, I've got all my excess nuts. And then in this box here, I have got my wheat berries for making wheatgrass. In this one, I've got excess bags of flour that I've just bought over time, and I've got them in Mylar bags now. Now, the best thing about this is I got my fridge. I've been saying for a while now I wanted to have a fridge in here to keep down on the condensation, because I think it's going to add just a little bit of warmth from the processor at the back, the oh, what's it called? The compressor at the back that keeps the fridge cold. It's not a freezer, it's just a fridge. It's going to keep the temperature up in here slightly and keep a nice even temperature. So as you can see, it doesn't have a freezer in it, and that makes it more economical to run. It's much better to run when it doesn't have a freezer. It doesn't cost as much energy, and that was what I wanted. Something that was easy to use. I'd get rid of the fridge freezer in the kitchen, and I'm really pleased with it. I used I do a savings challenge. I've done a video about it before, and I save £1 a day. I put in £7 a week, and that's what this came out. So what I'd saved from the beginning of the year, I took out £129 and used it to buy my fridge, and I am delighted with it, absolutely delighted with it. I'm delighted with the fact I paid cash for it, but I'm also delighted with the fact that it's exactly what I want, and it does work. You know, I only have to keep it on #1, even in these temperatures. Any higher and it freezes. But it's just really economical, really good to use. And now I've got rid of that bulky fridge freezer in the kitchen and gained a massive cupboard. Under here, I've got my big bag of bread flour in that bottom tub there. That is a 15 kilogram box, this one here. And then in this box, I've got my surplus porridge oats, and I've also bought some corn flour as well, because it was on offer on Amazon. I saw it and I thought, you know, if I've ever not got any flour, I've got corn flour. So that lives in that airtight container there. And then under here, I've got some more storage. Now, these are great because these are on wheels, and I can pull these out, get to my flour, and then push them back like that. And it also means, sorry, it also means as well that I can get in to mop the floor, which has been brilliant. I can get in, I can brush, I can keep the mice out. And it just means that everything is kept nice and clean and spick and span. So I'm really pleased with it. I need to clean my dustbin. But yeah, I am so pleased with it. Very, very pleased with it. And there's a little mouse waiting in there to be deposited down the road. It's a live trap, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I've put these stools here. These are my step-ups and my kitchen stool. And that just keeps a lot of airflow going on with the fridge. So as you can see, it is finished. It is really nice. I am really pleased with it. I think it's Instagram worthy, what's it called, Pinterest worthy. It's my make do amend pantry, and I'm really, really pleased with it. These are just the cobbled together drawers that I had in the kitchen. I've still got some in the kitchen, but now I've made them into shelves in the pantry for storing things. This is just a little shelf I found for £1 in the charity shop, and this one I got for free. So yeah, it was taller, and I cut it in half, and it's ideal for the pantry, even just for storing these little jars here. So I'm very pleased, very, very pleased indeed. So what I want to do now today is I want to make some bunting. As you can see, this is peeling up because the shelf is all rough underneath. I just basically plonked it on. So it needs staple gunning down and a bit of Fablon underneath to put along the front. I just think it'll just really jazz it up, make it even nicer space to come. And if I've got just little tiny, I don't know, 5 centimetres at the top and 2.5 centimetres down, it'll just make a nice little edging for my pantry shelf. So that's what I'm going to do today. While the weather's so hot, I'm only going to do it on these three. I'm not going to do it on all of them, but just these 3 shelves here. And I'm going to make a little bunting curtain, cafe net curtain thing to go above the top there out of the same fabric. And then I will be doing the same thing in my kitchen here as well. So I thought we'd have a little look at that together. That's the pantry tour. I've still got a few bits to do. I've got the bunting to do. I've got the window behind me to do here, my cupboards to finish, and the window ledge and window to finish in the pantry. But other than that, everything's back in and everything's sorted. So coming up in September, I'm thinking of doing a series of £10 shops where, you know, we did the pantry series and we were going through all the different staples like the tin, the fresh goods, the dried, and the Victory Pantry. Well, I'm going to take £10 shopping. I'm going to take each of those shopping lists each week and I'm going to go shopping. And I'll choose a supermarket and let you know which supermarket that will be nearer the time. And I'll go shopping and we'll see what we can get for £10 to start a pantry. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who are a bit unsure as to where to start, as to how much money to start with. And I think £10 is a good budget once a week to just go out, get your pantry started, and get some staples in that you can cook with, that you can bake with. And then you'll be all set and ready to go for the winter. So that's what we're going to do in September. In August coming up, I'm going to do a carrots challenge. Yes, I did say carrots. A few viewers have asked me what to do with a glut of carrots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my local market. They sell bags of pony carrots for £4 for 25 kilos. So I'm going to go and buy myself a bag of pony carrots, and I'm going to see how many different things we can make with those pony carrots to stock up our pantry. And there's going to be a very special make in that you wouldn't even think of. So do stay tuned for August for that. If you don't want to miss anything, do like, do subscribe, do hit that bell, and that'll tell you when I upload new videos. And you can keep up to date with all the new pantry things that are going to be coming up. I've got plans for November and plans for December to take us up to Christmas. And yes, I did say Christmas. And that should keep us going until the new year. So I'm going to go. Do like, subscribe, do hit that bell, do check out my join button because you do get free full recipe tutorials in that where you get a full recipe a month and you cook along with me, a recipe menu card and a meal plan as well. So do check out my memberships. There's lots of behind the scenes stuff and YouTube shorts that you don't get to see on my main channel. So do check that out. I'll see you in the next video on Sunday when we're going to be back out in the garden doing a bit more make, do and mend. And I'll show you how to use the sheep poo fertilizer on your vegetables. So I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your week and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Bye bye.